Hello and welcome to InBrighton Fridays on Radio Reverb, Brighton and Hove's community radio station. In the studio we have Lucinda Abel. Hello, Linda.
Hello.
Thanks very much for coming in. You're going to be talking to us about your project. What's it called?
Puppet animation celebrating Brighton Stories. Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a show and an exhibition happening in the next couple of weeks. If you're listening at just after 5, we are live just after 5 here in the Radio Reverb studio in the Old Stein in Brighton. Let us now turn to Lucinda Abel, who's, I'm very glad to say, has come down to the studio to tell us about her animation and puppet project, which is in the Fringe Festival, but also part of the Youth Arts Festival.
Yeah, that's right. It's about sharing and celebrating everything Brightonian. It involved Patcham High School students, and for a series of 5 weeks, 2-hour-long workshops, we made puppet animations, and now it's the time to share and show it to you all.
So, for those who don't know, Patcham High School is one of the Brighton and Hove schools. And what age were the young people who were involved?
Year 9, so that's 13 and 14 young people. So we joined the Youth Arts Festival, and we had an amazing launch night. That was a week ago in the Jubilee Library. All sorts of services came together and projects came together to share what we've been doing, all projects.
You're a student at the Brighton University.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What are you studying?
I study performance and visual arts. It's an exciting course of all sorts, and I decided to specialise in puppetry. That's so fun.
And so how then did you decide to do this project? How did that come about?
In second year we do an extension studies programme, and there's an artist, Irene Mensah, who set up her own project with Patcham High School, and I just love the environment, and it's a great school and the kids love art. It's an art specialist school, so I thought, yeah, this is for me, let's do a project.
So you went along to the school, and whose idea was the puppetry thing?
Mine, really, and it's about sharing skills and developing communication and creative skills, but the stories came from them. We created imaginative stories and drew around personal memories to make interesting stories around Brighton seafront. And
there's going to be some sort of a show, because it's animation as well.
That's right, yeah, films.
So the puppetry is going to be seen in films rather than actual live puppet shows.
That's right, yeah. We wanted to make a film because we're hoping to get winning into a competition. The Cultural Olympiad has got a competition for films, and we've loaded up on the internet, filmnation.com, check it out and search Celebrate 2012. The more votes we get, we could have our film shown on the big screens at the Olympics. That'd be amazing.
Wow, so that's filmnation.com.
That's right, yeah.
Well, tell us all about that again later on.
Lovely.
But at the moment, when and where will the show
It's already begun at the University of Brighton. Yep, so for 2 weeks you can come and see it, and we have a show on the 15th of May at 12 till 2. If you come to the reception, there'll be people to show you to the room, and we'll have a good time.
Wonderful. And then, but the exhibition is there. Where is the exhibition? Is it just sort of...
In the reception of the university. There's always people around to help you find it.
Really? Okay. Right. And that's going on all the time between now and...
until the 18th of May, so make sure you get there.
Well, Lucinda Abel, thank you very much. We'll talk more about exactly what kind of stories people came up with and what sort of puppets and everything like that. You're listening to InBrighton Friday on Radio Reverb, Brighton and Hove's community radio station, 97.2 FM in the Brighton and Hove area, and streaming live on the internet at www.radioreverb.com. And on the show now, we are talking to Lucinda Abel. Lucinda.
Hello.
So we've been hearing about how you've been doing a animation and puppetry project with students from the Patcham High School in Brighton, with help from other students at the University of Brighton art faculty.
That's right, yeah.
So you went to the school, and these children were year 9, you say?
Yep, year 9. It was an interesting project. We learnt all sorts from each other. We were teaching them all sorts of art skills and igniting their fires and creativity, I suppose, and I don't know, maybe making them curious about higher education. In these times, perhaps people aren't going to do them anymore, courses, so perhaps it's an important thing to do.
Well, I reckon so. So these were students who they didn't do much art already? Don't all students do art?
That's true, yeah. I was observing some of the art lessons before I started the project and wanted to understand what it was all about. And I find that actually art lessons are quite 2D. It was nice to get sculpture and create puppets 3D.
I don't remember any puppetry in my school.
And it's so good. You can do whatever you want. What we did, we used found materials. It's about Brighton seafront, so we used shells for hands, and you can make them at home. Children were saying, young people were saying, oh, I've made the seagull at home, and that was just amazing. You know, they didn't have to do it in lessons, they wanted to do it at home.
What did you make the puppets out of then? What kind of puppets are they? Because there's lots of different kinds.
There's lots of different kinds of puppets, and that's what I love about puppets. You can make marionette puppets. We made rod puppets, which is mainly, we've got a photo here, we used found materials, things you could find, like a pencil to put in the back of a paper mache head to move and character and personalise your puppet. And we had characters like Billy Bob Jr. and Billy Bob Sr. Their story was about a fight on Brighton beachfront. Obviously, the boys made that one up. And
right. Oh, so boys were involved. And that,
boys, yeah, boys and girls.
Because I tend to normally think of art in schools being what girls would be more interested in it, and especially puppetry. But you had boys too. And also because last week we were talking to a project especially for girls to do with art. Okay, so there were boys involved, and they wrote a story about fighting on the beach.
That's right, yeah.
That's a traditional Brighton activity, this is true.
Well, yeah, maybe in the Mods and Rockers days. We did actually use material from the Screen Archive at my university.
What's the Screen Archive?
I know, it's interesting, isn't it? It's an archive of old films and photos from around Brighton, around East Sussex, and I thought that would ignite like their thoughts into making some interesting stories, and some fights were one of the stories featured. Right. Seagulls eating people's donuts and chasing after the seagull, magic involved somewhere. It's quite imaginative.
So these stories that the children came up with your prompting then were turned into little plays which were acted out by the puppets.
That's right, yeah, and we turned them into stop animation. It's a really good technique. If everyone's got digital cameras nowadays, just get your digital camera and keep pressing and you can make a quick film really quickly. It's lovely. The classroom was filled with all sorts of things, material. We went to a charity shop to get materials for the it was kindly donated for the puppets. Oh, the room was a mess, but we had fun.
So the film or the animation, tell us again when people can see it.
Yeah, sure. It's in an exhibition right now at the University of Brighton in the reception, and it's on until the 18th of May. We've got a show on the 15th of May, 12 till 2. You can find out more about the project on Twitter. Is it @ Puppet Brighton, and it's on Facebook as well, celebrating Brighton Stories. We'd love to see you at the exhibition.
But you also said that for people who can't make that, they can go onto the internet and see.
That's right, yeah. We've entered it into a competition at www.filmnation.com, and you can search in Celebrate 2012.
Also, and you say the exhibition is on from now. Right.
That's right, yeah.
Until the
18th of May for the Brighton Fringe and Youth Arts Festival.
Will anything be happening in the future, or have you got any more?
Oh yeah, actually, more puppet workshops. We're doing a puppet workshop on the 19th of May in the Pavilion Gardens. So come down on our picnic blanket.
Who's allowed to go
Absolutely
to that?
Everyone. It's a drop-in. Come and we'll make some scarf marionettes that time.
Right,
yeah.
A scarf marionette. A marionette is a puppet with strings for those who are not puppet experts.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay. Lucinda, thank you very much for coming to Radio Reverb and InBrighton Friday and telling us about your puppet animation project, exhibition and show and workshop in the Pavilion Gardens.
That's right, yeah.
It's been a great pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to actually seeing the puppet animations. They sound really nice.
We'd love to see you, and we'd love to see everyone else.
Great. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being on the InBrighton Fridays on Radio Reverb.
Thank you, it's been brilliant.
Thank you very much for coming. It's 97.2 FM. Keep it on your dial. In the Brighton and Hove area, although apparently you can hear it all the way from Eastbourne to Littlehampton. And also on the internet at www.radioreverb.com.